time develop complex, highly astute opinions about professional wrestling. Am I right?
That is correct. You know where we can find that?
Yes.
In the Wrestling Ham.
That's right.
Sidekick Media Services. We are your sidekick in business for social media, video production, and more. Find out more at sidekickmediaservices.com.
Hello, friends. I'm your pal in the mainstream media.
And I'm your Riz.
And you know, Riz, it takes years of strenuous, dedicated training before you're worthy to step inside a professional wrestling ring. But it takes even more time to develop complex, highly astute opinions about professional wrestling. Am I right?
That is correct. You know where we can find that?
Yes.
In the Wrestling Ham.
That's right.
Sidekick Media Services. We are your sidekick in business for social media, video production, and more. Find out more at sidekickmediaservices.com.
Hello, friends. I'm your pal in the mainstream media.
And I'm your Riz.
And you know, Riz, it takes years of strenuous, dedicated.
This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com. This show is brought to you by Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza. Production services by Sidekick Media Services. And listeners like you, supporting us at patreon.com/awesomecast. It's time to get geeky, get awesome. It is the AwesomeCast. I'm Mike Sorg at Sorgatron on the Twitter, the Sorgatron Media Twitter. God, I am so old school. Chilla, I'm so old school. We're in Sorgatron Media Studios in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and coming live from Studio C in the Big D in Dormont, PA, is John Chichilla is with us. And I don't know
John Chichilla on the MySpace.
I don't know what year
Sometimes
it
on the
is.
Plurk.
I don't know what year it is. I don't know that Twitter doesn't actually kind of exist.
I'm gonna check in on Bright Kite.
What is a Twitter? Is the is the question of the week. Hashtag AC693. I'm sorry. I was listening to. I just finished Joe Rogan's Year One. book on audio. I've been trying to finally cashing in all those credits I built up because I forgot I had an Audible account. When they let me know when they expire, and so that's what I've been doing on my walks every day. And he was talking about a conversation he was having with Jack Dorsey on Twitter, which I'm like, oh, this book's a couple years old. So that was on my mind, and between that and there's a social media came up that people reference like old school Twitter, MySpace kind of thing, called No Place that just popped to the charts. So anyways, which Katie has been laughing at me for because I'm like, what do I do on this thing? Anyways, but she's not here to make fun of me this week. But you're here and we can have some fun here. So how you doing, Chilla, man?
I'm not bad. Not bad. Is she feeling better?
Oh no, yeah, she's feeling better. No, she had a haircut. She forgot it was Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
I know the hairdresser is. I know that's hard to book. So
It's difficult.
I get it. I don't know. Haven't done that for a while, and literally my barber is like right next door. So when I did, anyways, so let's get into our awesome things of the week, and I didn't see what you had here necessarily. What you got? What's your awesome thing?
So my awesome thing is, and I will happily admit, because I guess admitting is the first stage to recovery.
Yeah.
Oh
no.
I have a mouse problem.
Oh no.
So Logitech has announced a new mouse, the G309, which it's not all about the mouse that I'm interested in. If you're familiar, and it like you had to buy like their $150 mice to use it. They have a $120 mouse pad. What makes the $120 mouse pad so magical and worth $120 is it is the Logitech Power Play pad. What it does is it induction charges your mouse as you use it.
Oh.
So I use a lot of wireless mice. In fact, I don't have many that are. I have many that can act wired. Like if I let the batteries run out and I need to charge them up, I can plug them into the laptop and use it as a wired mouse while it charges. But I have also many other mice that use Bluetooth. Some of them have internal batteries and charge over USB-C, mini, you name it. I probably have one that uses it. I think somewhere I have one of the original Magic mice, the one like that you click the whole mouse, not the one that you had like use double A batteries in weirdly and charge. And not the metal glass one, kind of like the older one than that.
Kind of like the old Magic Mouse kind of thing where it was all one thing. Okay.
But so what they've come out with is the Logitech 309 is actually an $80 mouse, which is not bad in like if you're getting like a lot of feature functionality out of the mouse. But the 309 has what they call supercapacitor. What that does is it actually lets you take the batteries out of it. And if you're using it on the Power Play pad, you don't need any batteries in it, and it like charges as you use it. Or it keeps the device powered enough while you use it, even if you were to pick it up. The device does use their Lightspeed USB dongle, or you can run it in Bluetooth. It has ridiculous amounts of battery life. If you're using their dongle, you get like 300 hours of battery life. And if you're using it with the Power Play pad, it's only 68 grams. So ridiculously light. It has a 25K Hero base sensor. It's using their Light Force switches. It does have your typical like wheel at the top. They have a bunch of it has 6 programmable buttons. They usually do a pretty nice job with their devices, even supporting firmware, so I'm sure they'll support this for quite some time. But all in all, it's a very, very nice mouse. And I'm very interested in I don't have a Power Play mat, so that would have to be an additional purchase along this. So you're looking at $200 to start.
Oh, jeez.
So maybe a little more.
So big buy-in.
$220. it's a big buy-in. I mean, you could start with the $80 mouse and go for the power play pad later. But very, very interested in this mouse.
That's very cool.
And you know, it would have been cooler if they called it the flux capacitor instead of the supercapacitor. But very, very nice device to know. In fact, like right now, like I use my daily driver on my main PC at home is the MX Master. Supports up to 3 devices, including a dongle if you want to set it up like that. It has has 3 programmable buttons. I have actually 2 wheels, one on the side and one on the top. It's just an all-around nice mouse. I've been using this one for probably 4 years. And in the other room, I actually have the newer version of this.
I don't even think I have an on-brand match. I finally went wireless, and to be honest, it's plugged into a USB most of the time, which is probably not good for the battery. But at least like I don't have to worry about it dying, right?
Yeah.
I'm getting really sketchy now because now I'm using a lot of wireless around my main computer, which always bugs the hell out of me. Like I never want to use a wireless if I'm in the middle of like a show or something like that. Like everything here needs to be wired. I can't have like, oh no, the battery's died on something in the middle of a show, right? So I'm very kind of tied to it. Although I've been actually having, I got those new Anker, the Q20s that Katie recommended. Today is the first time I noticed audio lag on it when I'm editing. So I have to plug them in when I edit, which means I don't get noise canceling while I edit. I don't think. So unless I haven't figured that part out yet, because I think it only works when you have it on in Bluetooth, but we'll see how that works. Actually, maybe I can turn it on while I'm plugged in. I don't know. We'll figure it out. So no, that's very cool. So that is on, again, you can get Amazon. Like I said, it's $80. It's the Logitech G309 Lightspeed, and it's a gaming mouse officially. So yeah, nice.
Yeah, I don't see, because I think it's coming out of their gaming line.
Yeah. But that's not, I mean, I don't know how many times I've seen gaming laptops used for production because they already have, like, in fact, this computer that we've been running on for well over 10 years that I only last month finally had to replace a hard drive in it. By the way, I put an SSD, one of the spares that we would use because we were recording on HyperDecks for my one job, and I just had a bunch of spares. I threw that in there, threw Windows on it. This computer is speedy now. And it's only like a 4th gen Core i7, maybe i5. So that's been a big thing. So that's awesome. Go check that out. We'll have a link of course, in the notes here. And of course, anything that we can, we try to use the Amazon affiliate links if you want to support the show. And we appreciate if you do click through those links before you purchase that or anything else. You don't have to buy even the thing that we're clicking you through to, because I think that does all give us a nice little kickback here when that happens for you. So please support the show that way. So Chilla, I've been doing video for a little bit, allegedly. And
for a couple years.
Couple years, maybe a couple decades or 3. So you know what I have not done a lot of over those years is recording with a DSLR. And record, like I have worked with projects where I've worked with people that run DSLRs or lens cameras and things like that, but I've never did like mine. I guess I don't know what the official reference for it, but like I call them just full body cameras, like Canon X15s, the Panasonic. I think it's the DV200 if I'm not mistaken, like things like that. They're just like a full camera without the detachable lens, like prosumer cameras, I guess would be the reference for them. So I've had my hands on DSLRs, like maybe like I think I filmed like twice on one, that somebody's like, here, go take some shots for this, while we're doing this job, and I just kind of go to it. So that's not been like a muscle that I've worked on for a while. And finally I'm trying to, we have a Canon EOS, I think it's 2000D. So it's a lower end. It only does like up to 30, 1080, 30 frames, 1080 HD. So I can't really, not doing anything fun like slow motion or anything like that, right? Although I think I discovered my big camera does do slow motion, so I have to peek into that a little bit. So I had the opportunity. My friend from the wrestling world is in a band called Shattered, and they happen to be opening at Jurgles up in the Wexford area, Wexford, Warrendale, I guess officially.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
It's the Wexford exit, but I think
yes, I think it is the Wexford exit. And I was like, hey man, I want to play with some stuff. I was going to come to your show and support you anyways. Like, would you mind if I, get a photo pass and do a little bit of video with it? And I got to say, like, and again, they're only HD and stuff like that. But I am really kind of pleased with the results, and I've done very little work on this. I don't think I did any color work to this. This is straight out of the camera. If you're on video, this is on my YouTube for SBS Juggalo Sorgatron on YouTube and on my own pages and LinkedIn and things like that. So it's just like a quick, not even 30-second spot I put together with their music. So I was really I was really happy with results with it. I loved like how playing with the depth of field and everything like that. I thought I even captured the colors really well for that level of camera and things like that. So that's something I'm just trying to work that out and just kind of like work on different looks and things like that. I've been I guess spoiled a little bit because I've been working on a lot of projects with Scott Swemba that I've been trying to talk him to get on any of these podcasts, by the way, because he's awesome. He does like car commercials and stuff like that. But he's using like what is it? I think it's the Sony A7 DSLR, if I'm not mistaken, or mirrorless or whatever you call it, and he's been doing like really cool. He actually brought one on a gig that I brought him on that I haven't gotten the footage yet for it, but man, he showed me some slow-mo stuff that he's done, and just looking at those looks and stuff, and I'm just like, I need to expand, if that makes sense. So that's kind of my awesome kind of experiment that I've had for this week, is my first kind of like, okay, what can I do with this, and I feel like we need to get our hands on these practical tools and get a little more familiar with them. We've been doing things a certain way for so long, and I think that's really important to expand that knowledge base and for things that may come up. And I don't know, maybe do some different things next year when we go back out for the Baja events and everything, to add a little bit different look and flair to things than we've been doing, because I do feel so much like we've been doing the same thing for all these years. So but yeah, I don't know, you're a photo bug guy, and too bad we don't have Podner here as well. So I don't know what your thoughts were seeing the footage, at least over the zoomness.
The footage looks really good. What always got me was, I feel like and you're going to disagree because this is what you do for a living.
Mm-hmm.
I always felt like with even like a handheld camcorder, doing like family shots and stuff like that, always worked out well.
Sure.
On the kind of handheld, and the audio sounded good enough to share with friends and family, just much like if I need to take a quick video with my phone, the mic quality is pretty good. I don't have like an external mic hookup for my DSLR, so I very rarely shoot video with it if I want okay audio. It's more of a fear thing, but I also can't imagine, and maybe I should just try it more, the audio is going to sound very good at all.
Yeah.
But I know you bring like your own separate audio rig and record the audio separately.
Yeah.
And then sync it back up. I'm not carrying to a kids sporting event to watch kids soccer. I'm typically not bringing an entire kit with me. My phone and my DSLR are good enough.
No, absolutely. And you're in a position where good enough is good enough, right? And to be honest on this, and again, it's the Canon EOS 2000D that we picked up. It's good enough. Because there was actually no external audio to plug into the camera. So I ended up having to I didn't take any sound, and that's why I just put one of their own tracks over it. But I was really kind of surprised. I thought for sure whatever dinky onboard microphone was going to be completely garbage because it was so freaking loud in there. But the footage came back, and I was actually really happy with it. I was like, it was actually listenable. It wasn't like blown out. It wasn't crazy. But yeah, no, I for certain things, like typically if I'm using something like this, it is for something like an interview. It is something where, if I need to take the audio, we need to ensure that it's a certain level of quality, and that's where that external microphone situation does come in. So if I could use this for an interview, but I can't put a microphone on it, right? And audio is key if you're taking voice, and it's a situational thing. No, for a soccer game, there's no reason. No, there's no reason like that. Somebody
You still want the cheers. You still want the little bit of
Yeah.
chatter and yelling in the
It picks
background.
it
But
up
like, I
fine.
don't need, like, to your point, it's not an interview.
No.
The interesting thing, even like I've thought about, and I actually have a mount for it. I've actually thought about mounting as a second camera the DSLR, but I have so many extra webcams already hooked up.
Yeah,
It's
why?
like,
Why do things the hard way?
why?
We just had this. I've been consulting on somebody who's trying to do their first podcast interview situation, and we're using this like online software. And I was like, wait a minute, and they're having problems with it. And I was like, listen, why do a DSLR and do all this stuff and hook this up, and it's not gonna, there's all these little finicky things you're gonna have to deal with this thing. I have a really good webcam. Good, just use the freaking webcam. It's good.
Get a
It's
decent
good for
mic.
what you're
but
doing.
Just use the
Yeah,
webcam.
but I'm just like situationally, it's just like like this instance, it was like, don't use the software. You guys know how to you're learning how to edit. Just record your audio in GarageBand and set up your iPhone to to record. Get a clapboard so you can sync everything easily, and then go from there. Because we're just like the first thing is learn how to capture the interview. You have a very unique opportunity on the other side of the country to do this thing. Get it done, and then we'll figure it out from there. I think we've got to really kind of and so hey, if the only camera I have is a DSLR, figure out how to hook that thing up and do it. I mean, Chilla, you saw the menagerie of webcams I used to use when we used to do this very show in my basement back in the day. It was like you used what was on with you. I couldn't afford a $1,000 camera to hook up to my computer or a switcher or anything, any of these beautiful accessories that we have laid out in the studio that we have today or anything, right? Yeah, no, and that's fine. But as long as, get going with what you have, see where the weak points are, and it's like, okay, well, this would be a little better if we got a new microphone. Okay, this would be a little better if we got this kind of camera, this kind of device. Oh, maybe a bigger soundboard. Grow into the product you want to be. So I think it's very, very important. So it's the people that put like $3,000 down on equipment that don't hit record to begin with, which I think is always really, isn't that right? Right?
They're stuck like trying to get set up.
Yeah, and
I like your point. Like, just hit record.
Exactly. That was always a thing. I always go back. I've told this so many times. We were on with somebody. It was some tweet up or something or some podcast night years ago, and they were like, I think he was like a biology teacher, science, maybe a math teacher or something. And they're like, I got this, and I got this, and I got this, I got this. What do I do next? And I was like, bro, hit record. Record something. See if you like to do it, because see if you like to do it, and then you can return all that crap before it's too late. But yeah, anyway, that's the kind of thing that we're dealing with here, and I like when people come in with a really good mindset, and that's what I'm really liking about this. And when they get going and they release their first episode or two, I'm going to have them on the show. I already told them that on the call this week. So they got a really interesting concept. I'm really kind of curious about it. Anyways, and also a really curious concept is this show that we've been running for well over a decade, and we have been no advertisers. We do get a pizza a week from our friends on Slice on Broadway that I don't plug enough on the show, but we also have a lot of people in studio for this show to partake for this, but the wrestling show, they definitely do. I got to feed like 4 wrestlers tonight. Anyways, they're very handy for those kinds of things. But in the meantime, thank you everybody that does support the show on patreon.com/awesomecast. We do a extra stream now on these Tuesdays. We go live there, and you can see what's happening when the video's playing for everybody else, and we're just kind of like trying to get stuff going and warming ourselves up and catching up for first couple of minutes here before we get going. And then, of course, if we're recording Patreon afterwards, you stick around, you'll be able to check that out live and not have to wait for me to get it up. It took me a couple of days on the Mayhem show because reasons and time and things like that, but at least you would get at least that part right away. So I hope people are partaking in that. Let me know if you are partaking in that. Let me know if there's anything else you want to see from us when it comes to that. Do you want more updates? We've been putting a lot of small videos out, and I've been debating on whether you guys should get them over on Patreon or not. And so let me know if you want those things. And of course, the Patreon is on. If you're on Spotify, you can sign up through the Patreon through that. I don't have Spotify, so I don't know how that works, but I've set it up in the thing. So I hope that works for you guys. And you guys support that show. Thank you, everybody that does support the show over at patreon.com/awesomecast. Our friends at the coffee club level, Cynthia Klosky, and at the fan of the show level, Michael Fedor, John Diggy DeGore, and Dave Podner, spouse of Bruce Julia Fair at brucejuliafair.com. So you like my little wiggle to that? I should just turn it into a jingle. Is there a catchphrase over there? You know what? I guess if I type in the address. It's taking me longer than I expected to do. Oh no, I'm having an internet problem, so we'll check that out later. Anyways, everybody, thank you for supporting us on patreon.com/awesomecast. Chilla, I see there is a new update. Are you on the beta train for iOS? Of course you are, right?
So I am not prepared for my phone, but I am on my iPad.
Okay.
Now, beta 3 only dropped, I think, yesterday, so I don't have it updated yet. It'll get updated tonight. But one of the things I saw that is super exciting to me, because we actually have family members with Android that we do not allow to be a part of the family chats and group chats. They are not, the green bubbles are not invited in. I apologize. It is nothing against the fact that you own an Android. It's the fact that you destroy my group chats continually. So I'm no problem one-on-one chats, no problem. If you want to reach out to me and you're a green bubble, I don't judge you for the fact that you chose your device wrong. But I do not let you in my group chats.
Remind me to send this clip to Chachi, because we've been having an ongoing battle about this. I actually, what was that one beeper that was on a few months ago that lets you be a blue bubble?
Yes.
In chat, I was like, you need to sign up for this. It was like, why do I need to do this? It was like, it's only $2 and I won't have to like send you videos that look like crud anymore. That makes it look like crud for everybody else in our group chat. So no. But it is an issue because it does make it inconvenient,
So beta 3 that dropped, they have promised in 18 that you will start to get RCS support. So the crossover between Android and Apple will become much cleaner. Media quality, to your point, it will cross-platform. At work, we call it making dots. So if you're making dots or someone else is making dots, which means you're typing, that you will get that feedback. It does support wireless or Wi-Fi messaging. The media sharing quality, trying to remember the other ones.
That's another big one.
Improved group chats, audio messages, read receipts and typing indicators, better encryption for chat, cross-platform emoji reaction, which is another one. Like, so-and-so emphasized a message. I'm like, where'd the bubble go? Like, I don't know what emphasized. Does that mean it's like the exclamation mark? Is that the thumbs up? Like, what's going on? So, just much better alignment between the devices. And part of it dropped in 18 beta 3. They have to roll this out, from my understanding, carrier by carrier, to create the bridge. And the article that I posted, I didn't see. Oh, it does have it. Verizon, T-Mobile, and AT&T already support RCS. So, like, I don't know what they're using. Maybe they're on Google's thing, or maybe they're on Metro, I don't know, Boost, Cricket. But those are backed by those bigger carriers. So I don't know. I'm interested, and this actually has me tempted enough to load it on my phone. Usually I wait for public beta 2.
Mm-hmm.
This is developer beta 3. I don't even think public beta is out yet. So,
Awesome.
but they also said they support Bell in Canada, Telefónico in Spain, and O2 in
That's
Germany.
why I'm curious is what is going to happen. Not that that's something that happens to me a lot, but what does happen with international? So it may not be 100% depending on where you're going. As long as it works in Canada, I guess most of us will be okay. So I always wonder.
But the interesting thing is, like, even iMessage seems to get quirky internationally.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've seen it. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's not iMessage. iMessage works well. I would recommend that if you were text messaging or you were iMessaging with someone internationally, that you start messaging their iCloud account, like their email address, and not their phone number. Because if you or they have to fall back to SMS for some reason, you could get billed or it won't go through. Like when you become the green bubble. I've seen FaceTime. I apologize. FaceTime can be quirky internationally. Over the cellular service. Works fine if they're on Wi-Fi, but it's almost like the cellular carriers don't want you avoiding the permanent fees you could be paying.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can easily jump to WhatsApp and other applications to
Sure.
overcome that. But it seems like, I don't know if it's some kind of agreement Apple has with the carriers, but it can't. I'm trying to remember what carrier they're on in the UK. I don't know if it's 3 or O2, T-Mobile, whatever it is. Like friends of ours have to be on their home Wi-Fi for the FaceTime to connect.
Yeah, it gets sketchy. It definitely gets sketchy. Hell, it still gets sketchy for my watch when it's on the internet for a month. So, well, Chilla, you helped me finally kick myself in gear. This is 2 weeks in a row I ended up buying something that you guys have recommended on this show. And this time it was the CarPlay. And not that you can tell by this generic ass box that this came in. I'm sure yours came in a very similarly generic box, correct? Like, hey, what brand is it? I can't tell.
Car.
It's Car Media, multimedia player. This is one of those. I only spent $58 for this, which I think is on par with what you did. But I know what the version you found of it on Amazon was like something like $140. It's got the backup camera. It's got the front-facing or the dash camera. It does the CarPlay. It came with a 64 gigabyte card for the dash camera, which was kind of nice. So I threw that in there right away. It has an app actually to take the footage off of the dash camera onto your phone, which is kind of nice. All of them are very scary Chinese apps, I will admit. So if you're getting sketchy about that, yeah, you may not want to pick one of these up, and download the app and all that kind of stuff. It has, so you like log into the Wi-Fi, it comes into the app, and then you can take care of that. Plug it into the aux on my 2011 Ford Escape. We disconnected, forgot the Bluetooth to the Ford Sync that's in there, because this was always a thing. No matter what, it would start on the line in anyway. So we're like, well, just plug into the line in, and everything works pretty much right away. My only issue is I don't like that my car does not turn off the power to the cigarette light adapter when you turn the car off. So there's not that natural, it shuts down. But I think it might be meant to be on for the duration. There was a USB in there, but in my dash, but it's not powerful enough to power this device. Because I was hoping that because I know that does turn on and off with the car. It is, and I do have a picture.
How many different mounts did it come with?
None. Actually, none. I did not pay attention to this when I bought it, but that's okay, because you know what the beautiful thing is? It actually fit. So it's got a little base that hinges down, and there were sticky things on it, and it's stuck right in that space. So behind
Ooh, that
this,
worked out nice for you.
Behind there is an LCD that's the interface for the forward sync, and it's not an LED actually. It's just like blue lights, blue text lights, and it has the radio and everything. So I'm blocking, like I don't get the temperature, and I don't get like the direction you're going, like southeast and all that kind of stuff. But I've replaced everything.
You have Apple
else
Maps.
but I have Apple Maps, so, and I have all that interface and everything like that. So you see, like on the left, like you have your aux cord and you have your USB, and we need to kind of clean that up a little bit. So we actually just unplug the USB from the side of the unit when we're leaving the car. Although I was looking at the videos, I'm looking up and I saw like Missy definitely didn't unplug it when she went to her meeting the other night. So there's just like several hours of video of her in a parking lot in Green Tree somewhere. So, which actually maybe you kind of want that for theft deterrent, or if anything should happen. I do like I don't know if you can tell by this. It has a very pronounced camera on the back of it for the dash cam. And I kind of like, because I'm hoping that will also deter people from doing anything stupid around it. So like I'm really, for $60 again, this is relatively, I told Missy, I'm like, if this thing lasts a year, I'll be happy, for something on this level and this kind of like peculiarness of it. This one also has, let me know if yours has this. It has, I had it on for a second, and when you boot it up, it was weird because the CarPlay was half the screen and the other half was the camera. And then I was like, well, why do they do this? I'm getting into settings. Missy figured out how to make the CarPlay full screen, but it has the ADAS on it, the Advanced Driver Assistance Systems, and supposedly it would do like, you have left the lane and all this kind of stuff. And I'm driving through like the back streets of Mount Lebanon, so it keeps telling me I was leaving lanes that I wasn't leaving and things like that because there's no lines, right? And puts a big blue square up there, trying to indicate paths and lines and things like that. But it didn't seem like it was quite good. It's not integrated with your car. It's not what I bought this for. But it is just so funny. This thing has the ADAS, like I mentioned. This thing has an FM transmitter if you want to do that. It has Bluetooth, of course, and Wi-Fi. It has the dash. It has the reverse camera that you can wire to the back of your car. I'm just shocked at these quote-unquote advanced features that we've been impressed with when we get rent-a-cars and things like that are just in a $60 screen you pick up off of Amazon. It just seems like a... I guess these technologies are definitely several years old at this point, so they've been obviously very commodified. But to be on something like this cheap is really kind of astonishing to me.
I don't have the lane assist thing, at least that I have found. The one thing that was interesting to me, and I had it hooked up over the weekend, and like we had some randomness. I'll explain that in a minute. Where we couldn't figure out why Carla's phone couldn't take calls or play music via the CarPlay. But I'll get to that in a minute. It does have a feature when you set up the rear camera, which I have rear cameras in both cars. So I didn't really feel a need to wire that in.
Same here.
But it does have a calibration. It's not just the rear camera. You actually are supposed to pull it into a parking lot and go like you're pulling directly back into a parking space so you can calibrate the lines. Like, how it'll show you like that you're backing up and you want to line those lines up with the average white lines in the parking spot. It has that. But you do have to, after you hook up the camera, you have to calibrate those lines to the average parking spot and make sure that they're straight and whatnot, because maybe you tilted your camera a little bit or whatever. But
like this guy here, you got one like this? Is that what that is?
It's something kind of like that.
And
then there's settings on the device when you plug it in to calibrate the on-screen. The interesting thing, and the one reason I am actually interested in thinking about how I would wire that up is you would be surprised how many times I wish I had access to my backup camera on the screen but you can't because it only activates when you're in reverse and I'm driving forward down the highway. Like, just as that, hey, is something in my blind spot? Or
some cars, and maybe you've already discovered this, but some cars do have you, and maybe they were CarPlay level cars, but I have dug around in some rental cars where you can turn those on a little more persistently for some reason. So some cars do appear to have those options. So maybe that's worth.
Those are the high-tech ones that usually also have they have the rear cam, the front cam, the side cam.
Oh, the one I like, the virtual top-down view of the cam. Maybe, I don't know. So, you know, or it pops up whenever it thinks you're about to hit something. You know, things like that when you're just going through a Dunkin' Donuts driveway, drive-through.
So the one thing that we learned, and that you obviously figured out, maybe you did it without even thinking about it. If you get one of these devices and you hook it up, and you were using Bluetooth in your car, make sure you disconnect and forget the Bluetooth, because what will happen is the device will CarPlay. So you get all the CarPlay feature functionality of using maps and voice command and all that kind of stuff, but none of the audio works.
It gets
so
confused,
like,
yeah.
And what happens is when you take a phone call, or you try to make a phone call, or you try to play music, it's playing over Bluetooth, which isn't the active component to play in your car. So then it's like you can't hear anything. The funny part is, because you're on Bluetooth and the mic is actually activated then in your car, people remotely can hear you, but because the speakers aren't active because they're active for the CarPlay unit, you can't hear them. So it's a complete confusion, especially when you're trying to remotely troubleshoot what the heck is going on. So yes, if you get one of these devices, drop the Bluetooth connection.
You gotta you gotta completely de CarPlay yourself.
I went into the head unit on our cars, on that car, and forgot, like, deleted all of the pairing devices, and then I went on to all of our phones.
Yeah, I
deleted all the devices.
I just forgot it on my phone, and that seemed to do it. So
yeah,
and there's also, you know, I think there's a setting in the CarPlay about, like, you know, which one connects, because like when we both get in the car, which one's going to take over, and I think it's just whichever was the last phone. But it's really easy. You just like, because it does something interesting with the Wi-Fi. So if you turn off Wi-Fi, that's going to give you a notification to disable CarPlay, and then the other person can pick up. Sometimes you have to reboot the unit to kick it in. Like, we play the game where I drop Missy off at the house, and it's 3 blocks up here to the office, and like, she was the one connected, and this has happened twice now. She walks away, it goes into that weird interface, you know, like whatever core interface is on this device, and then about 2 blocks later, my phone will pick up on it. So sometimes when you want to get it quicker, just reboot the device and it'll look, you know, for it right away. So no, it's nice. It's nice to have a dash cam. I've been wanting one for a while. It's like up to a 4K camera. It looks like it's pretty decent. I don't know how to bring this up on here. I wonder if I have. Let me see if I have footage on here to kind of see what that looks like. Because I know I tried to download something. I have an album. Oh, yeah, there you go. Okay, let me see. I don't even know where this is that I downloaded from. There's no thumbnails until I go into the video, and then it lets you download it through the app. But generally, yeah, this is what it kind of looks like. It looks like I'm just kind of going through the Beachview neighborhood somewhere for the most part. So, yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's pretty clean.
Yeah, it's pretty clean. I mean, well, my car isn't, but, you know, you get the idea there. Yeah, actually, that's kind of going up to my house right there. So I must have been coming up from Dunkin' Donuts. I go to Dunkin' way too much. I have boosted status. Katie showed me her boosted status, and she had 300 points in her Dunkin' app. And I'm like, how the hell did you do that? Why don't you spend your points? And she's like, yeah, I go there. My roommate uses the same account. I'm just like, what the hell? And then, like, I went on a mission to hit the 12 visits in a month to get boosted status.
What does boosted status get you?
They give you like 3x points for purchases and stuff for 3 months. And then you just have to do another 12 visits in a calendar month to extend that sometime in there. Yeah, I got a problem. I got a major.
You run on Dunkin'.
I'm literally running on Dunkin'. So, anyways, I don't know. My wife sent me a meme and said I deserve all the coffee possible, and I'm leaning into it. Where are we at with things? What else do you want to touch on here that's in the items that I threw in here, if there's anything else?
So, either the Nintendo PlayStation controller or I'm interested in the Steam Deck Android conversation. But
Yeah, I saw that before the show. I should have got my brother in for that. Well, let's talk about the PlayStation controller. First of all, this tickled my member berries. Did you have an opportunity? Remember this great thing called Replay FX that used to be here in town, where it was just they turned the convention center into the giantest, amazingest arcade ever. And at least a couple years, somebody had the Super Nintendo PlayStation, which was the CD-ROM thing. It was the partnership they were doing. They were prototypes. Jeez, more Duncan, please. There were prototypes that were going up for auction, things like that, and he had it, and it was playable, and we got to play it at Replay FX. So, do you have an opportunity to lay eyes on that or get to touch that thing?
I did get to touch it. I had to wait in a little bit of a line, but I did get to play it.
Well, according to this article on The Verge, they're saying in 2020, a rare prototype of never-released Nintendo PlayStation console sold for $360,000. That's one of those that we're talking about. But a second prototype controller from this is going up for auction in August. So this is your opportunity. And basically, it looks like a Super Nintendo controller. Actually, more a Super Nintendo or a Super Famicom controller, because it's got the multicolored buttons, not the was it the purples that they had
gray
purplish, yeah, kind of things, right? And it just says Sony and PlayStation on it, but it's definitely a Super Nintendo controller. You can see the plug on. Actually, no, that plug. Wait a minute.
It looks like a Sony plug.
Yeah, a Sony plug as well. So
like a PlayStation plug.
Yeah, and so that again, this is the precursor of what did become the Sony PlayStation, and this is one of the remnants of it. So there's a very, very cool thing. Again, there's no games. I think we talked about there's no actual games. I think there was something like the CD-ROM didn't work, and they were trying to fix it. Not that there was anything to really run on it under that software. They had emulators running on it, things like that. Like we were playing some kind of indie game platformer on it. I think that they had put in there in the cartridge slot, because it was a Super Nintendo cartridge slot. So, what could have been? What could have been? So you do have an opportunity to pick that up. Heritage Auctions is behind this second auction, and this is the same group that's sold a sealed copy of Super Mario Brothers for $114,000 back in 2020, and another copy sold for $660,000. Man, you know what? That makes sense, because you know what you can find for like a quarter probably anywhere is the Mario Duck Hunt combo, right? So
some of those, I mean, even we wanted to go out and get Wii Sports Resort, which is like a continuation of Wii Sports. Some of those games aren't cheap.
No, this is the other reason why I don't buy Nintendo consoles, because there's no point in getting old ones, because you're still going to pay $80 for Mario Kart. It's just like, it's so bonkers when it comes to that stuff, unfortunately. So I don't know. Maybe the next Nintendo will get into. Who knows? Maybe I'll just pick up my Steam Deck, because apparently I could run Android on Steam Deck. My brother had this post I just saw on Facebook here before the show, so I wanted to share that. He says, what weird tech things I have been tinkering with this week. Android on my Steam Deck via Waydroid. Testing setup TrueNAS with Plex in a virtual box. Jeez, on a handheld computer. He is really digging into this stuff.
I've been impressed with some of the stuff you can do with the Steam Deck. I've loaded some emulators. There's I can't remember the name of the app is Ducky. There's an app where you can like alter the boot up video. There's just a lot of cool stuff out there for it. Like very, very versatile. I took the whole thing apart and changed the shell, changing the back plate's very easy. Changing the shell takes some effort. You have to to pry the screen off the device, which made me nervous. You have to get out like a hair dryer or a heat gun. But no, I mean, it was probably an hour's worth of work, but well worth it. Love the device. Take it a lot of places, and I like the fact that, hey, if I need to boot up Linux or something, it's very easy to get into desktop mode. I can hook a mouse and keyboard up to it. Like, it's like a little pocket gaming system / laptop.
I can just take it with me, hook it up. You were talking about that mini PC last week, that AI chip PC. Like, you could do the same thing with Steam Deck, right? Where you just bring that stuff, hook it up to a one of those LCD monitors, affordable ones or whatever you had, or even like if you're in the right hotel, you can just hook it up to the damn TV, and just go.
Yeah, I have a USB-C hub with like VGA network connection. Bunch of different connections on there, so yeah, that works no problem. The one thing, like, and next time I'm on the show, I think I'll be on next week. I'll pull out the 3 handheld type devices that I have. The one thing, I have a GPD Win 3. I have the Steam Deck, and I have the Legion. The Legion's probably my favorite because it has a really, really nice kickstand.
Nice. Hey, turns out Dave Ponder's been in the chat room this whole time. I just refreshed the Facebook and finally found all of his comments throughout the entire show. So he's got a lot to talk about. He said basically prosumer, basically no experience with prosumer, but definitely iPhone. Mid cameras have gotten so good with quality. It's good for most low-end professionals. And yeah, and really it is. I mean, I see a lot of people like the camera that I was looking at that wants to do the things that I want to do on DSLRs, Shirley, is like $1,200. The camera that I want to do on the prosumer level is like $4,000. So that shows you the scale that's going on there. And it's not always like, hey, you need the higher end thing to do higher end work. I was like, if you know how to use the lower end stuff, like, you can get by pretty good. And you've been called out as a green bubble hater. And let's see. Yeah, footage from the car queue. The Sopranos.
I didn't say I hold it against them.
That sounded very hold it against them. You said something about bad phone choices somewhere in there, I think. So, and Bonner's saying also RCS, they are following the standard, but not Google's extra stuff that is not part of the standard. So, I don't know what that's going to be. So
I would hazard to guess, and I'm not I really actually like Android for different reasons. It's not my daily driver. I have multiple Android devices. I have Chrome OS devices. I'm guessing that Google probably owns some kind of license to be able to use that, and I highly doubt Apple's going to spend the money to pay for that license just so you and I can more easily text.
They're going to just change the reason we can't be compatible is what it's going to be. That's what's going to happen.
Now, the same thing, but that's the same reason that Amazon tablets don't have Google Play. It's because Android is free and open source. The AOSP, Android Open Source Project, anyone can take that, compile it, throw it on any devices they want, not a problem. And I'm going to mess this up, so bear with me and don't quote me on it. I think it's like GMS, the Google Media Services license.
That sounds right.
Is what gets you things like Google Play, and their App Store and a bunch of the extra Google stuff. You have to pay to use that. So not many people are like, if you were trying to bring down the cost of your device, you're not going to continue to pay Google licensing on it. That's kind of where that break point is.
Yep. So man, I don't know. I can still play Game Boy games on my phone now, so I'm happy. Waiting for Fortnite to come back. So
The Epic with their store launched in the UK today, I think.
in the UK, I don't know. Can I get to it if I have a VPN? You think?
I don't know.
I'm curious. I'm curious at what they do. What they're doing with that. Is it just like they have their own apps, or are they doing anything else? I would love just native game. I just want native Game Pass and GeForce Now on my Apple TV. When is that coming? So like that's what I want, what I need. I got my Steam Link.
I guess that's too far.
I know.
Do you use Apple TV a lot?
Yes, it's my regular driver. I deprecated my Google TV Chromecast after I started seeing Hardee's commercials on the front screen when I booted it up. I was done with it after that. I was like, no, we're done. Goodbye. I'm going to grab this old Apple TV and put it in my bedroom. So it's still there in case there's something like I do have like an Xbox streamer that like isn't set up half the time and things like that. But no, that really kind of burned me when they did that. I don't want those. It's bad enough I get movie trailers playing when I boot up this TV and hear that's a Fire TV. It just drives me absolutely nuts. But oh well. Is what it is. Like I can't turn this TV on and walk away because it's going to be blasting by the time I come back. So
I'm trying to find. Let me make sure this is right.
what's that?
I'm trying to find it in the App Store
You trying to
or where I got it from. There's an app, and it's called ATV Remote. Like all the 3 letters all together, ATV. Even though I think it's actually like a play on ATV. Remote, and it's actually an app-based remote control for. Actually, maybe I got it off of GitHub. It's an app-based. Yeah, this is where I got it from. I'll put a link in here for you if you're interested. It runs as a widget in your toolbar, and you have the ability to control your Apple TV from your MacBook.
Wait, so
so like if you're sitting like I sit on the couch a lot,
yeah,
and with my laptop on my lap, and it's like maybe the controller's over there, or I've run out of batteries on the remote. I can always use my phone. I use my phone more than I actually use the remote, but like, hey, the phone's on the charger. It's not sitting right next to me. Like having it right at the top of my screen where I can control any Apple TV in the house is pretty nice.
That would be helpful for me because I sit on my laptop doing work on Monday nights, throw on the wrestling and do some social media work. And it's the older Apple TV that has that very slick remote that I always hold the wrong way. And I keep losing it because I'm tired and don't remember I put it. So that would be really, really helpful, actually. Please send me that link. Chilla, thank you so much. It's good to have you back on the show. Just 2 dudes hanging out on an awesome cast.
Just 2 dudes asking what is a Twitter.
Oh, by the way, Potter apparently answered what is a Twitter over in the Slack with his image. By the way, I think that is our show title and show graphic now. I presume this is AI art. But it is wonderful and endearing. So that's going out there. So we're going to use more AI art, and I'm going to get more comments, it seems, because that has been happening more and more. Anyways, thank you so much, Chilla. He's at Chilla or at Chilla579 on various social media platforms that he probably doesn't look at,
including the Plurk. I think I am still active on Plurk.
But active, I can't believe that.
Well, not active. I've registered the handle.
By the way, here's a throwback. I'm sorry, we're going long now. But I've been listening to Kevin Rose's. He had a Dig Nation reunion with Alec Albrecht. And it's been a 2-parter, and I was just listening to the second part of it, and they filmed it like the week of WWDC, and they went in and they're like, oh, I wonder what's happening with Dig. Oh, it's a dead trademark. Oh, somebody is just sitting on Dig and not doing anything with it. I should just buy this from them and just restore the last version of Dig. And guess what? They restored dig.com. So I don't know what you're going to do with this, but dig.com now exists just pretty much on a lark, I guess. So I don't know if these are useful news sources or anything like that, but these are definitely active, it would seem. And you can subscribe. Oh, wait. Dig's morning newsletter? This can't be. Oh, it's got to be automatic or something, right? Somehow I ended up in sex and relationships, too. I don't know how that happened. Anyways, there you go. Dig.com is a thing, and you can go check it out just like the good old days. It was Chilla. I wish you were. I could stick around for Patreon and we could talk about old things that aren't there anymore. All of our favorite podcasts are doing reunion shows, like old shows that have been.
I'm
canceled
Chilla, and I'm Chilla579 on the clerk.
Oh, there you go. We checked.
I have no karma, by the way.
Oh, we are all karmaless at this point.
I have 2 fans and 2 friends.
Am I one of them? Have to be. No, that might be before.
No, it's Doug. It's Doug Durda and Cynthia Koloski.
Ah, there you go. There you go. Man, we need to do an awesome cast reunion. Just bring everybody in. That's what needs to happen. I don't know if anybody's gonna care, but you know. Anyways, thank you guys so much. Again, follow us everywhere. Please support the show if you like what we're doing. And, of course, share some stories throughout the week. We have a great group over there on Facebook. And if you want to start kicking up a conversation, there is an AwesomeCast to discuss is out there. And we do have a group chat as well that's attached to that AwesomeCast group. Man, I missed that. We should probably, I don't know, most of us that interact on there are also on Slack, so that's where we kind of have our conversations. So either way, we'll see where it's doing very good for Wrestling Mayhem Show. The Wrestling Mayhem Show Facebook group group chat is very active, actually. And that's where I'm getting my news updates for wrestling since I've been very, very busy. So, but thank you, everybody that does support the show. We'll see you guys next week. You have been our awesome audience. Have an awesome week. This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at Sorgatron.